Oh, what's up? We're live. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
Welcome to the first Thundrbro weekly rundown. You guys who are OGs may remember our daily rundowns where we would go through each day of training in depth. This community decided let's do a weekly touch base with you guys, let you know what's going on, talk about the week of training, maybe some announcements. And we have tons of really cool announcements of stuff that's coming up. The first is that if you guys are looking to tune up for summer, if you're trying to get things together and maybe do a good summer abs transformation, this is a great time to jump into our 90-day shrink challenge, which is a really cool product. We do some neat stuff.
It's literally the best.
Yeah. So
it starts May 5th. We are the one coaching you, literally doing all of your check-in. Anything you tell us, we will help. Like this includes like helping you with your digestion, meal plan, talk about your hormones. We really go above and beyond what we offer.
So it's going to include training, nutrition coaching, and one-on-one check-ins with Camille and I. And that all happens through the Thunder app. So you guys have nutrition tabs in the Thunder app where we can download diets. We can give you your macro targets. The forms that come to you are all automated. So like we ask you really specific questions, you take your photos, and based on that data, we get you updated. We have a lot of success with athletes in that kind of format where we're doing weekly check-ins and updating based on your progress. And if you go to that page, you'll see just a tapestry of killer before and afters. So if you're interested, go ahead and check it out there. Now, you guys in Muscle Anarchy, you got your special code, Anarchy Nation, which gives you 20% off everything off the site. So I would definitely recommend using that if you want to jump in there. It's also a great price point for 3 months of coaching for $250. It's really, really awesome. Other stuff that we got going on. In the near future, we're going to be launching a foundations program, kind of like an on-ramp for new people coming into Thundrbro and Alpha Babe. So if your friends are a little intimidated by what you're doing in the gym with Thundrbro and they're like, that's not for me, we're creating a path for them to get to where you're at, not just in terms of building themselves up physically, but also understanding the training and the methods that we use, because it is a little different than most people are used to. Now, this week in Muscle Anarchy and Alpha Babe, we got some great stuff coming up. Let's see, on leg day, you guys are doing some heel elevated mummy squats this week. And this is one of my favorite movements for developing the quads, Cam.
Yes, it's great. I love it.
It's really nice because it puts you in a position where you can keep your chest really upright and there's just a little bit more movement at the knee. And the other thing I like is it gets athletes like really deep into a squatting position.
I think, when you look at weightlifting shoes, that's why the heel is up. The heel is up on the lifting shoe so you can keep your chest more upright, and that's going to go more in your quads. So when you do the mummy squat with the heels elevated, just really make sure that you're focusing on that upright torso and like go slow and smooth to start. Really get the knee going forward. Do not bounce at the bottom. Try to be control so we're not like smashing that joint down at the bottom. And
always in control.
Yeah, always in control here.
The other really nasty one we have on leg day is our Bulgarian split squat desk set reboot. And if you guys had done the other version, right, where it's basically 3 rounds with reps and iso holds, this one is way worse. And that's why we have you going through it one time. It's really just a finisher. But the difference here in this one is where the 3 weight drop is going to be larger drops, right? You might go from like 70s to 50s to 35s. Because there are 4 drops here, you're going to go in smaller increments. So you might do the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, and the 40s. And at the end of this, you should really be at the point where like when you finish that last rep and hold, you should really need to use your hand to help yourself up because you've completely cashed out that leg, and then you can shake yourself off and hit the other one. Now, on the next day, on chest day, at least for Muscle Anarchy, we've got a bench press to a 3-inch rolled up towel. So that's going to be the lift that I really want you guys to record to see where you're at with your strength. You should be able to bench a little bit more with the towel bench press than the regular bench press because we're truncating the range of motion. But the big test that we want to look at today is going to be our labor number 4. And labor number 4, Campbell, you can kind of reveal this.
Oh, yeah. Did we put the name for that?
It's called the Golden Horseshoe.
Oh, the golden horseshoe. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 100 dips for time.
And it's called Golden Horseshoe because when people have very developed triceps,
Yes,
it looks like a horseshoe, right? So if you've
So-
got golden horseshoes, try this one. 100 dips for time. Now you want to do this in like long sets. So if you need to scale it, if you can't get at least like 15 bar dips in a clip, I would definitely recommend maybe scaling this down to something like bands or jumping dips. But the performance standard to earn your patch on this is going to be doing it in under 4 minutes, which is very, very hard. Don't feel bad if it takes you 7 minutes. You're normal. You're still very, very fit. I've seen people kind of like bonk out and they're getting like 1 or 2 reps at a time at the end. So clip out a long set. Yeah, exactly. Clip out a long set. And then,
and keep in mind with our labor, like the goal is almost to be like, okay, this year I'm going to work on those 2 labor,
Exactly.
It like should be really hard. I want this to be something that you work hard on and then you get. All right, Wednesday, we're going to start with the pull-up buffet. I love this. It is so many reps. It's like insane.
What I like about it
really get all the muscle fired up.
It gets me pumped up because the reps are higher, and I love the band because it just feels so much better.
I know. You can be so smooth on the band.
You can be more strict with the band.
Yes.
You're not wiggling around. I think the band also helps to kind of like stabilize you under the bar too.
Yes.
And it really allows you to just put your mind in your muscle and really move well.
And I think you're not as exposed at the bottom. I feel like that's starting on the pull-up sometimes, like really where things get like a little effy, but
you'll definitely be super warm and your lats will be ready for what's coming next.
Yes, and then we're going to build heavy, some bend over row on those. Always make sure that the barbell's going in your hips. That is like the number one thing. People bring it to their chest, bring it down to your hips. It should kind of be in contact with your legs.
I see 2 big mistakes in that bend over row, and I make them too. Is one, they don't get their chest to
low
that 45
enough,
degree angle, so they're staying a little more upright, and you can tell that because their knees are kind of forward, and that's why when I lose the hair on my thighs, it's usually because I'm doing that a little too much. The other thing is just throwing like a lot of body English in, like a little body English. That's okay, but like a lot of body English is not really what it's about. And then, like Cammie's saying, like it's a low row, right? So it's not up into the chest; it's down towards the hip.
Yeah, and then we're finished with some single arm row with rotation.
You forgot my big debut with the athletic movement here, the single arm ring row with the rotation.
No, that's what I'm literally just talking about now.
I thought you were talking
I'm saying we're having a new movement here, single arm row with rotation.
Were you impressed? That was pretty athletic.
Yeah, well, especially with your open cutoff
Carhartt.
You guys should watch this video.
My outfit in the video is next level. It's Carhartt pants with a vest and no shirt. And I don't know what was happening that Sunday.
I don't know, but I love it. Okay, keep in mind when you do this, like when you go stretch out, like just always keep tension in the shoulder. Like don't like let go with the muscle. Just always good tension, good rotation, slow and control, just really feeling the muscle.
You can make that extremely hard too, or easy, just by moving your feet back and reducing the angle. You want the ring to be about at waist height when you do it. But even if you move it all the way down towards the floor or even elevating your feet on a box, you can make that tremendously challenging.
Thursday regen, just move.
30
just move.
30 good minutes of zone 2 there. This one, you got some biking, some jump rope, kettlebell swing. I mean, the idea here is to just like warm up pace.
Yeah, just get the blood in your muscle. Like, do not get your heart rate too high. And then you should feel good and energized after this.
And then you could do a little upper body pump, take a photo, take a pose when you're pumped up.
All right, Friday, we are doing shoulder day.
Yeah, and so, one thing we didn't mention here is like the plyos that are on Monday and Tuesday and Friday and Saturday. They're great. You guys should
Mhm.
really practice them. Cami and I do this when we train at our house. We start with like plyos. It's so
It's
fun.
so fun.
But most people don't do that. I know a lot of people skip over it. They're like, oh, well, it's not lifting. But it is an opportunity to really develop athleticism,
Yes.
and that will translate to your lifting.
Yes, because we're building muscle with all the hypertrophy work, and we want to keep that fast switch. So we want to start with that plyo. So good.
They're doing some heavy standing strict press, which is a movement that a lot of people struggle with to see progress in.
Mhm.
And what I found is the key is really like high volume pressing.
Yes, yes.
And they're always doing high volume pressing in this program, but this one is actually an opportunity to test to see where you're at. You know, you're going to work up to, I guess it's a good heavy 8 rep, right? So you would want to see that those 8 rep top sets that you guys have done from that previous cycle where it was banded presses into the top set, you should see some significant improvement in this now that you're just going straight into it, and after all those weeks of practicing the speed work. And then one of your favorites right after, right, Cam?
Oh yeah, that is my favorite. It's so awful. The Arnold Press Anarchy Dumbbell Hypo Giant Set. That one is just so much time under tension. And really, when you do this, like focus on that. So go lighter if needed to make sure that you get really your pinky together, opening all the way up, all the way down, and then those in and out. And try to keep your rib cage braced during those shoulder press because it gets really ugly. But just get that first rep. I think like that's my trick when you do the in and outs. Like get that first rep up right away, because once you get one rep, you can get a couple more.
When I do this with people live, they always want to like put the dumbbells down. They think there's like rest in between.
Yeah, there's no rest in between anything.
This is all one set,
Yes.
and it's this cumulative fatigue that really, by the time you get to those high pulls, it should be like very uncomfortable, you know,
Yes.
because you're really gassed out. And then obviously we'll cash out your shoulders with some medial delt work here,
which is my favorite. I mean, that's how you build the meat out here. That's why you see all the bodybuilding girls doing this.
That side raise, I mean, I know a lot of bodybuilders do their entire shoulder workout built around different side raise variations.
Yes.
But it's just one of the most effective movements for building a very round,
Yes.
capped shoulder.
Little tip when you do this. I don't even know if you can see my arm when I do like. Wait, this arm. Okay. When you lift up, just turn the elbow up slightly.
Yeah.
Not the shoulder rotating in, but instead, because I see a lot of people going like this.
Yes.
Bend your elbow and then slightly up. So almost like the elbow is in line with the shoulder.
That's something.
And that, I mean, just me doing this, you can see how much more my shoulder engage. And that's like one of the really nice.
I think that lateral raise movement is something that some people with anything going on in the shoulder, sometimes they struggle with. It can cause a little shoulder discomfort. And what Cami's talking about can really help relieve that, right? So with your arm straight, there's a little more torque and you've got no slack in your bicep tendon. So if that humerus is banging around, you're going to feel it a little bit. But if you bend your arm some, just a little, or even if you can do the same thing at 90 degrees.
Yes.
I mean, they have machines in the gym where it's like literally a 90-degree side raise. You could do the same thing with a bent arm lateral raise, and you could probably even go a little heavier with the dumbbells. But it gives you a little bit more leverage. So bend the arm a little bit if you have any, shoulder discomfort.
All right, Saturday arm day.
Yeah, I mean, what's better than pumping your guns out on a Saturday? Most of the videos are shirtless, right? So we've got this pre-fatigue. It's actually a great pre-fatigue. I love the deficit push-ups because range of motion, right?
It is really fun.
People talk about like, how do I develop range of motion? The best way to develop range of motion is introducing movements like this, that you're actually actively moving through a very deep range of motion. And that helps with joint health, but it also helps with muscle hypertrophy.
Yes, stretch and load is where the magic happens for most things.
We got some fun different arm variations in here. And I love playing around with these arm variations just because it's fun, to blast your biceps and your triceps in different ways. So the alternating banded kettlebell curls, you need 2 bands, probably heavier bands, medium or heavy. You also need the kettlebells. If you don't have kettlebells, you could probably pull this off with dumbbells. But what I noticed about this movement in particular is because the weight is oscillating and you have to move smooth, like you can't use too much momentum.
Yeah, it's going against you.
It was an awesome, just that squeeze on the bicep. It was a really awesome movement.
Yeah.
So I love that. So that's what you guys should be thinking about, is just like slow squeeze tension, especially as you finish that movement. Really, really cool bicep variation. Barbell JM press. This is the best tricep builder movement that you can do. I mean, if you think about all the different tricep movements, press downs, skull crushers, kickbacks that are just exclusively really triceps, this is the one that you're going to be able to go the heaviest on. And I think it puts just the most amount of load and tension through that muscle. So a couple things to consider when you do this, guys. Where you're putting the bar, it is kind of up at your discretion to what's comfortable for you. So some people come to the chin, some people come a little lower to the chest. Pay attention to how it feels on your elbows too. Don't go too heavy that you're pissing off those elbows. And one pro tip is, if you take your thumb from to actually go like suicide grip under the bar, and I think Anthony has that in the video, it's a lot more comfortable because you can get it right on the base of your hand, where you've just got a little bit more leverage as opposed to in the fingers.
All right, and then we're going to finish with some more of that. So this week, make sure you go to failure, towards failure, and a lot of your set. Get the pump in, and then go eat your protein.
That's right. And if we're going to give you one focal point for this week, because we don't get the chance to actually coach you on general philosophy here. Cammie's mentioning going to failure. You really do need to go to failure or near failure, or sometimes beyond failure, to see results. So having a spotter is so important. Being in a safe setup is so important. But not every set needs to be as hard as possible. Those lead up sets that you're doing, it's okay to kind of just slowly get used to the movement, rev up the engine, get your central nervous system used to the weight. And then when those really hard sets come up, the RPE 9s, the RPE 10s, that's when you're supposed to go for it. And that's really the whole stimulus of the workout, are those really effective working sets where you've got a high rate of perceived exertion and you're trying to push your threshold. Everything else, kind of foreplay, just like getting yourself ready to do that. That is the workout.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. Good week. Go train. Go do it. Bye.
Go train now.